الله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون صدق الله مولانا العظيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, today I'm gonna talk about Surah Maoon, Quraysh, which I have talked 2 weeks back, and then previous week I could not be able to talk as this was Eid al-Adha, holy day, so I escaped and didn't talk that day, that week. Today I'm going to talk about Surah Al-Maoon. First of all, I must say the context of Surah Al-Fil and the context of Surah Al-Quraysh, the subject of both surahs, and then there is Surah Al-Maoon. They all, interlinked. They all are interlinked with each other. In Surah Al-Fil, Allah has explained His bounty on Quraysh, how He protected them from evil and how He protected them from a powerful army which proceeded against Makkah, which proceeded against Quraysh, and Allah had protected them divinely, miraculously. And then in Surah Al-Quraysh, Allah had explained how Allah has given them numerous bounties, a free hand to travel to Yemen and Syria to do their trade and business. And then Allah had explained and told them all those bounties were bestowed on you, were showered on you just for one reason, just for one purpose, and the purpose is worshipping Allah alone. As Allah said, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّن خَوْفٍ. They should worship the owner of the house, the Lord of the house. Allah has given all of us, numerous numbers of bounties, uncountable numbers of bounties, and the reason of these bounties which bestowed on us is just to worship Allah. Remember Allah and worship Him, and remember Him in every second of your life. And that's why Allah has made it obligatory for us to pray 5 times, to offer 5 times prayers in a day, and to give charity in a particular in a specific manner, which we call zakat and hajj and all other sunans and nawafils which Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has done. These are, this is actually the way of life which Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given us. So basically, the concept of ibadah, which I have talked already, is living a life according to the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and applying the characteristics of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions into our life, and that is something which will lead us to Jannah. May Allah grant us all. Now we are here to talk about Surah Al-Maoon. In this particular surah, Allah has begun this surah from the verse أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. In the very first verse of this portion of this chapter, prestigious chapter, Allah had told us that did you not see, the ultimate one whom Allah has called, is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he said, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Haven't you seen, O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one who rejects the day of judgment, the day of resurrection, the day of recompense. And the day of judgment and the day of recompense, which is actually very basic concept and one of the basic pillars of Islam. If we count them, there is a supplication, a dua, which we all know, آمنا بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره. What Allah has taught us, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us, which means we have believed in angels, in Allah's angels and His books, His messengers, and then وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ, and the day of judgment, the life after death, the life hereafter, and the bad and good fate, which we call qadr, taqdeer. So akhirah, the life after death, is one of the basic pillars of Islam, which we must know, which we must realize. And the one who rejects the basic pillar of Islam cannot be a true submitter. And that Allah has mentioned there, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Hadn't you seen, O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who rejects, who denies the day of judgment, the concept of the day of judgment? He cannot be a true submitter, he cannot be a true Muslim at all. So if we want to be a true, first of all, we must follow, we must believe firm, we must have a firm belief in all those pillars, basic pillars of Islam. And the day of judgment, the concept of the day of judgment, is also one of them. And now we must know that justice cannot be prevailed completely in this world if there is no concept of the day of judgment. For example, suppose you are a thief or you are a mafia, and you have a power that nobody in the police, nobody in political parties can catch you, nobody can affect you, nobody can harm you. You are the boss of your own world, you are the boss of your area, you are Don, you can say. So nobody can catch you, and you can do whatever you want in this world. Even you steal things, you constantly are doing robbery, and you even kill people. But sometimes there are powerful people who are uncatchable. We can see numerous examples. I will give one. We all know the name of Fir'aun. Fir'aun was one of the most cruel and tyrannical kings of human history. In human history, there are very few kings who are more tyrannical or more cruel than Fir'aun. He was the one who had killed innocent people, has killed thousands of children, who oppressed lakhs of people, and who oppressed the whole nation. And then he was, we all know, he was drawn by Allah. But is it just for a person who killed thousands of people, who oppressed the whole nation, to be drawn just for once in a life? There is numerous names like Stalin, like Hitler, who killed lakhs of people, thousands of people, and then they died. So is it just, and even if they were sentenced to the death, even though they were being beaten, but they have killed thousands of people, lakhs of people. So justice can only be prevailed when they also been punished like they did to the people, innocent people in this world. And that can only be done in the life hereafter, in the day of judgment. Because those were the powerful people, nobody can catch them, nobody can harm them, nobody can affect them. So then, if we want justice to be prevailed, then we have to wait for the day of judgment. And that is something which, you can say, motivate us, to do good deeds in this world. There is nothing which can motivate us to do good deeds, which can lead us to the Jannah, may Allah grant us all, except the concept of Yawm al-Akhirah, the concept of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the concept of the day of judgment. So that is as clear as crystal. If we think deeply, if we contemplate, in this life we all are born just for a purpose to worship Allah in a proper way, what Allah has taught us. So the day of judgment is just for jaza and saza, which we can say the day of judgment. And that's why Allah has created this life and death. As He said, هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Indeed, He is the one who created life and death. Why? لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا, that He can judge you, that He judge you all. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا, that He can judge you all who is better in deeds. Then He will reward those who are believers, who believed in Allah, who believed in the characteristics which were given by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah in the Quran Majid and Ahadith, and the believer of all pillars which I have mentioned. And then one who did just, who did good deeds, who enjoined what is right, who forbid what is wrong, he is the one who will be rewarded in the life hereafter. And if someone did not believe in Allah, someone did not believe in the characteristic and the values, true values of the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the basic pillars of Islam, then he'll surely gonna be punished in the life after death. So that is the basic conception which we must know, and that is absolutely logical and scientific if we think deeply, if we contemplate, because justice completely can never be prevailed in this life except in the life after death, where Allah Himself alone will judge all of the people, all humankind. So that is the first verse of Surah Al-Maoon, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Then Allah has counted the bad attribution and bad qualities of those people who rejected the life hereafter, who rejected this concept. Those are the ones who push away the orphans, who repulses the orphan. Orphan is the one who need most of our sympathy, most of our compassion, most of our kindness. An orphan and yatim, the word yatim in Arabic language is has a meaning of a child who has lost one of his parents, his or her parent. He is yatim, and of course he is the most merciful person. You can say, if someone is yatim, he deserves utmost respect, he deserves utmost kindness, he deserves utmost compassion towards them from us. So yatim is the one who deserves our respect, who deserves our kindness, who deserves our compassion and lenience and cooperation and coordination, because he needs us. And then there are people in this surah, is the context of the surah is Quraysh, but in general it is for all humankind. And all other surahs of Quran Majid are actually in context of someone, but in general they are meant for all humankind. They are meant for all humankind. So this surah also, the context of the surah is Quraysh, but the surah is meant for all humankind. So the one who rejects the day of judgment, the day of resurrection, is the one who repulses the orphan. And the orphan, as I said, is the one who needs most of our sympathy, most of our compassion, and most of our lenience. And that's why Allah has said in numerous places in Quran Majid, in one place He said كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين. That no, certainly not. You don't give the dignity, you don't confer the dignity and prosperity to the orphan. ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين, and you do not urge each other to feed poor, feeding poor. And that's what in this surah also instant after the verse which I have just recited. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. These are bad qualities actually. First of all, Allah has talked about spirituality, you can call, then morality you can call. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين, the firm belief in the life hereafter is all about Allah, is related to Allah. But then فَذَلِكَ الْيَتِيمُ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, these two verses actually relate to the people also, Allah also. As he said, the one who rejects the day of judgment, the day of resurrection, is the one who pushes away the orphan, and he is the one who does not urge feeding poor. فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. Then he said فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. Then Allah invite all of us, including the Muslims, including the all humankind. He said, woe to them, woe to those performers of the prayers. Now we should have a pause and think and contemplate. Allah has said, woe to those performers of the prayers. Performers of the prayers are always good ones, are always the ones who remember Allah. But then Allah said, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, the performers who are heedless in their prayers, who are heedless in their salat, who are heedless in their namaz. They are الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ, and they just make a show, they show off, and that is a sign of hypocrites. And that's what Allah has told us in another place of Quran, where He said, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُمْ وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. He said, indeed, the hypocrites try to deceive Allah, but Allah deceived them. And when they stand up to salah, they stand with laziness. وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ, they just show off, they make people see. وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, and they don't remember Allah except very little. And the situation what we are in, we must contemplate. Either this ayah cannot be applied to us, because we also sometimes want to show off. We also sometimes do our prayers and offer salah with laziness, and we also sometimes, may Allah protect us, try to deceive Allah. If we want to show off, if we want to make show in your prayers, and you are not loyal and you are not sincere to Allah, you are not intentionally right, intentionally loyal and sincere to Allah, then our salah, our prayer will be thrown onto our face. Allah absolutely does not need our prayers. We need the prayers, we need to offer salah with a pure intention, with all loyalty, with all sincerity, with pure ikhlas, what we call ikhlas. So this ayah actually urges us to have ikhlas, to have a pure intention, to do things just for Allah with all loyalty, with pure sincerity. And salah, in the words of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is actually imaduddin, the pillar of deen. Salah is the basic pillar of our religion. If we want to be a true submitter, if we want to be a true Muslim, then we must offer salah with a pure intention. And salah is, you can say, the greatest prayer Allah has given us basic four obligatory prayers: salat, zakat, hajj, and namaz. And namaz is the greatest. As Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked by one of his companions, radiyallahu an. So he asked which prayer is the best. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, salat, namaz. Salat on its time, on its fixed time, is the best. So we also, if we want to be pious, if we want to be obedient in the sight of Allah, then we must be loyal, and then we must be sincere, and then we must be offer salah with a pure intention. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. The woe to them, to those performers of salah who are heedless in their prayers, who are heedless of their prayers, and who make show or who show off in their prayers. Then the last ayah, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, they even withhold the minor things, and they don't give people even minor things like utensils, like a pot, like an axe, because they want to give things. I mean, these bad qualities are being put in those people who rejects the first ayah, the first verse which I have recited, who rejects the day of judgment, which is a pillar. If we want to motivate ourselves, to do good deeds which can lead us to the Jannah, the first thing is reward, and then the fear of punishment. If we know that we will be rewarded if we do this, and we will be punished if we do that, then we live our life with all care. And if there is nothing like a day of judgment, there is nothing like a life after death, then nobody would want to do good deeds. Nobody would want to restrict himself from doing wrong, all sort of wrongdoings. Nobody want to enjoin what is right. Nobody want to forbid what is wrong. The ultimate thing which provoke everybody to do good deeds, which bother everybody to restrict himself from doing all sort of wrongdoings, is the fear of punishment and then a reward in the life hereafter, the hell and the heaven. And that's what Allah has explained in another occasion of Quran Majid, where He said, أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ. That is a basic thing Allah has said. Shall we treat the true submitters, the Muslimin, like we treat mujrimeen, like we treat disbelievers, like we treat who are lost in sin? I mean, the one who is a true submitter, who submit himself, who surrendered himself to the Allah's will, who surrendered himself unto Allah's will, he is the one who will be rewarded for sure. And then there is a one who did not surrender himself, did not submit himself to the Allah's will. He is surely gonna be punished. And that's why Allah has put the concept of the day of judgment, where He reward the people of belief, a true and firm belief, and where He will surely punish the people who are lost in sin and who are disbelievers, who don't believe in Allah, who don't believe in the signs of Allah. Signs of Allah actually are everywhere. In the biggest sign is the Quran, and then there is numerous signs and countable signs of Allah, which Allah has put in His last divine writ in Quran Majid, where we can contemplate, where we can think, where we can ponder over, and then tell the people why Allah has created this world, why Allah has created the human being, and what is the purpose of the human life. And that's what I have actually explained previous week, where Allah has said, after bestowing and showering all bounties and His mercies and His favors and His dignity and prosperity on one of the most noblest tribe in the world, Quraysh, then He reminded them, then He ordered them, then He commanded them, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. The ultimate purpose of all those bounties is to worship Allah, is to worship the Lord of that sacred house where we constantly go, and pilgrims also go there. So the ultimate goal is to worship Allah, and if we do not recognize Allah, so there is nothing which can restrict us from all sort of wrongdoings, all sort of immoralities, and all sort of unvaluable things. And if we do not believe, if we do believe in Allah, then surely that will motivate us to do good deeds which can lead us to Jannah. May Allah grant us all the Jannah, Jannatul Firdaus, and may Allah protect us from the hellfire. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.